me now is Eric Farnsworth. He's Vice President of the Council of the Americas, a business organization promoting free trade and democracy throughout the Americas. So how significant is this announcement, do you think?
Well, I think it remains to be seen. I mean, the first step is the announcement actually has to be fulfilled. The prisoners have to be released, and we have to say indeed that frankly they should have been released a long time ago. But having said that, this could be a significant announcement because it's really one of the first times that the regime under Raul Castro is making steps to liberalize politically. Previous steps have been economically oriented. This may be a political step, and I think it's possible that it could be the first of several steps. We have to wait and see if that's going to happen.
Even though the vast majority of the people that are going to be released are not political prisoners.
Correct. And the Cubans say they're doing it for humanitarian reasons, and that's true. And truthfully, they don't really want to warehouse a lot of these folks as they get to the end of their lives. Many have been in jail for really, in some cases, decades. So in some ways, it's getting rid of prisoners who they would otherwise have to hold. And I think that's an important thing to know.
One of the people that is not on the list is the American subcontractor, Alan Gross. How do you think that his absence from this list is going to be read in Washington?
Well, I think that's an equally important signal. Clearly, the Cuban government is doing this on Cuban terms. They're not doing it in response to any demands from the United States. It may be an effort to curry favor with other governments regionally, perhaps in Spain, perhaps Europe, but it's clearly not designed as a signal to say to the United States, okay, now we're going to try to normalize relations. We're a long way away from that.
Do you think it's going to get credit from if not from the United States, then what about the rest of the international community?
Well, I think they probably will, because the international community has seen for some time now, since Raul took over from Fidel, that there are steps toward liberalization. They're slow, they're ponderous, and they haven't gone nearly as far as they probably need to go, but they are steps nonetheless. I think there's a rough equivalent here with what President Gorbachev tried to do with glasnost and perestroika under the Soviet Union in the 1980s. It's a slow process of liberalization, but the question becomes, at what point does it become too much for the regime in control to actually control? And then there's going to become a point in time that there could be a crisis. But again, we're probably a long way away from that, and the step that was announced just this evening will get some credit by the international community.
And why do you think that they've chosen to do it now? I mean, could it in some way be related to the Pope's visit, you know, in spring? I mean, is that partly the motivation here?
I think that's clearly part of the motivation, as well as the fact that there are winds of change going on throughout the world as well. We've seen what happened in North Korea. We've seen what happened in other governments across the world. So clearly the government of Cuba is not immune to those types of winds of change as well. But I would say this, the economy in Cuba is really in desperate straits. They have to find ways to liberalize. They have to find new ways to build the economy, and by releasing prisoners that will curry favor with the international community, it may be another way to say to the rest of the world, look, we want to be open to business, just not relations with the United States at this point.
All right, Eric Farnsworth, thank you very much.